What's going on? It's your boy DameSmiff, and today I'm gonna give you a few tips on how you can very easily walk to just lose weight. And so if this is interesting to you, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I want to have these conversations with you guys on a more frequent basis, but it's really just to kind of help you and people like you learn the options you have to get fit. And so if you're new to this channel, this is really a channel that's really focused on artists and musicians, and I want to bring this information to the general public as far as being fit, understanding creativity, and how it can help the greater society. So today's topic is walking, and how walking is one of the greatest weight loss tools you have in your arsenal. So when it comes to walking, most people, when they think of it, they just think of it as like a part of their day, right? It just fits into their lifestyle. There's no really real plan to it. And so when you ask people, do you walk, or like what are the you know experiences you have with walking for weight loss, it's usually something along the lines of like I either walk enough or I don't really have any kind of like plan for what I'm doing. Like, I just expect to either walk more or to walk enough to where it burns enough calories. And so if you're one of those people, let me know in the comments because I do have some tips to help you get it a little better. So when we thinking about our goals, you want to be kind of specific, but you also want to have goals that are realistic. So if you're trying to lose like 40 pounds and walking is going to be one of your tools, then that can be done. But we got to be realistic about how fast it can happen and really plan the steps to get there. And that can be done working with a coach or maybe working with some kind of like program and things like that. But essentially, if you want to get started, I would suggest maybe like 20, 30 minutes a day or 20 or 30 minutes every other day. That way you can get into the rhythm of walking. Now, for some people, if you're just a really, really sedentary person, meaning you don't move around a lot, and these are people that typically, if you're doing stuff like what I'm doing, like you're sitting in an office or a studio most of the day, if you're a person that drives a lot for your job, or maybe you drive a long time to work and then work in an office and then drive a long ways back home and then wind up resting at home, meaning your body isn't moving a lot. You're not really getting it moving. That's typically the sedentary lifestyle. Now, if your job is more of a active, physical active job, meaning like you have to walk a lot of distance, maybe you work on a campus, so like the different offices you need to get to are in different buildings, so there is some walking distance there. Perhaps your job requires you to walk. Maybe you are, a person that needs to be walking through buildings and airports and all these kinds of different jobs all the time, right? That's a person who has walking fit into their lifestyle. So it's easier for them to kind of like get into the groove when it comes to start adding walks into their day, right? But the goal that they have might not be met because their lifestyle isn't really as intense as it should be to reach their goal. So when we were thinking about, like I said, losing 40 pounds, this is when you're going to really want to have like a set plan and like structure around how you're going to be doing your walks. So there's another group of people, the last group of people, these are the people that tend to like go on marathons, or maybe they're in like a group or something like that, and they typically don't have goals that are surrounding like something so specific like losing 40 pounds. It's usually more health related, like I want to have like better cardio or something like that. And so these people, it's easier for them to kind of fit into the groove of things because a lot of the goals that people typically have are short term and not necessarily long term. And these long term goals are easier to get into the groove of because they help develop good habits to get to that goal. Whereas a short term goal, if we were talking about walking, it would be very difficult to reach most short term goals with the tool of walking. And so let's get into like some of the ways that just walking 30 minutes a day can help you. So starting at just 30 minutes is going to help you getting your muscles in your legs and your feet all loosened up and grooving and things like that, especially if you have like hills and different kinds of terrain where you're walking. But if you are using a treadmill, then I suggest finding a program or things like that on the computer or the treadmill that go through different elevations. And this is going to be important because you want to be able to get your joints and muscles moving in different variety of directions, so you can develop strength in different angles and areas. And this is important too as you get more and more active, because you want to build up strength in your joints, build up strength in those tiny, tiny little muscles in our feet and our toes and things like that. And you also want to build up strength in your heart and lungs and all your organs and things like that. Because as you begin to walk, your cardiovascular system is going to start to pump and get working and things like that. So as your heart contracts and then releases more blood, it starts to kind of like doing push-ups, it builds up reps, right? And so it's pumping harder, it's pumping faster. And this is just walking. So imagine, running or jogging or sprinting at that point, right? So if you can just do a walk at 20, 30 minutes, you get that much work done in your body just by walking. And so the next thing you want to figure out, now that you have an idea of how long you would like to walk, especially if you're a person who's getting started, the next thing you want to get into is how intense of a walk you want to take. So if you're like a person who isn't active at all, like meaning most of your walking is done for work or through the house and things like that, there are people who, generally don't need to walk a lot. And so you want to kind of take it slow. So you don't need to get out the house and start power walking like you got a competition coming up, but you do want to build some kind of intensity to where you can feel a bit of a change in your state, or your state of being, your mind and your breathing and things like that. You want to feel your breath kind of feel like, you want to feel your lungs fully expand as you're walking and things like that, but you also want to be able to hold a conversation similar to what I'm doing right now. And so once you get to a point to where, wow, I'm starting to feel kind of winded, then that's when your heart rate has reached a point that is higher than usual, and you can figure out how much more intensity you can handle. It's always great to work with a coach in these kinds of activities, especially a physician, or if you're just brand new with this and you want to really start off the right way, always talk to your doctor and your physician and your coaches and things like that and get the best information. But this is just the basics of understanding what happens when you're walking and why it works for weight loss, right? And so once you get these muscles moving, you get your lungs pumping and things like that. Now your feet and your joints are getting loosened up and things like that. Over time, as you consistently do these walks every day or every week, you'll start to kind of stack up all the results you've been getting this entire time to where 30 minutes feels easy, and now you can walk longer. Maybe you want to start adding a little more to it. Instead of, running, maybe you want to now focus on what you're eating. And then maybe the walks will be a little bit more efficient because you're eating a little better. Maybe you want to cut out one bad thing that you've always enjoyed and maybe introduce it slowly back into your diet just so you can reach your goal. Maybe you want to cut out cookies just for the summer, cookies and soda just for this summer, and just see how walking, eating better with no cookies and soda for one summer will get you. And then we can really see what you're about as far as keeping this up as a lifestyle or reaching the goal of maybe your dream body or your dream uh, feeling. Maybe you just want to feel better, And there's just certain things you want to introduce into your lifestyle, meaning like your everyday activities. Like if you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, brushing your teeth is just a part of your lifestyle. Like you don't have to think about doing it. No one has to really tell you, unless we do. But these are things that you kind of want to explore, and walking is one of those options. And this is just another one of those options I wanted to expose to you, make sure you have it available in your arsenal. And for my musicians and artists out there, this is going to be really helpful for you guys because it builds up a lot of endurance when it comes to performing on stage. It builds up endurance for like things like this, like being able to talk and breathe and things like that, vocalize and, communicate with people and be witty and keep your mind moving and things like that. These cardiovascular activities help us do that. And walking is one of the easiest ones. So if this was helpful to you, let me know and I'll make more videos like this. And let me know if walking helped you. What's your journey on your, or what has your weight loss journey been with walking? And I want to know if you're a person who you don't like walks, maybe you can't really get up and get moving like you want to, let me know and let's have a conversation about what other options there are to help reach your goals. And I'm out.